Toyota has confirmed it's still battling against production and supply issues this year, with things not set to improve until the second half of 2023. Toyota's Vice President for Sales and Marketing, Sean Hanley, said these challenges would continue through the first quarter of 2023, off the back of a 31.4% drop in sales in February. The February sales figures confirm that we continue to face supply constraints, which are likely to continue for the first quarter at least. At this stage, we are expecting improved supply during the second half of the year, Mr. Hanley said. We continue to work hard with our global production teams and our local dealers to ensure we receive and deliver as many cars as possible, as quickly as possible. Demand for Toyota vehicles remains incredibly strong and our order bank is very healthy. For the full year, we are expecting to deliver more than 200,000 vehicles for the 19th time in the past 20 years, Mr. Hanley added. Most of Toyota's key model lines were down for the month and subsequently relinquished segment leadership for the month, namely the Corolla, down 27.3%, RAV4, down 52.5%, and Prado, down 59.6%. The Camry was down 64.9%, but was still top of its class. In particular, the usually top-selling RAV4 fell behind both the Mazda CX-5 and Mitsubishi Outlander. Likewise, the venerable and ever-popular Land Cruiser Prado fell behind the Subaru Outback and the Isuzu MU-X. While 31.4% down in February and 23.5% down so far in 2023, Toyota is still a strong market leader. Mazda maintained second place in February, but was likewise down on its usual numbers and was barely half of Toyota's overall volume. In third was Ford, followed by Kia. Mr. Hanley's yearly forecast of over 200,000 vehicles in 2023 is a fairly modest benchmark, given the Japanese giant registered 231,050 vehicles in 2022. This latest development comes after a lengthy battle for Toyota, which despite retaining market leadership has struggled with lengthy wait times on new orders, crippled supply, and production cuts across its global portfolio of factories. It's forced Toyota to even close orders for high-demand vehicles like the Land Cruiser 70 series, which aren't set to reopen until at least mid-2023, almost a year since it stopped taking orders for the venerable 4x4 range in July. A light at the end of the tunnel could be shining, though. Later this year Toyota will launch its first electric vehicle, the BZ4X crossover, as well as the Hilux GR Sport, a locally led, Ranger Raptor-style new variant of its top-selling dual-cab ute. Toyota is also set to reveal the second-generation CHR crossover later this year, previewed by the CHR Prologue concept, which will feature a fully electrified powertrain lineup with both hybrid and plug-in hybrid options, think Prius SUV. It's been confirmed for Australia at some point, at least in hybrid form, though it's unclear whether it will launch before the end of 2023 or sometime in 2024. But what's all the hype around the CHR for anyway? Well, to answer that we need to talk about what makes it so special. The Toyota CHR is a compact SUV that's easy to drive and cheap to run, and it's also ideal for those who tend to lose their vehicle in a car park, because it certainly stands out. Some small SUVs are little more than hatchbacks with slightly raised suspension and a few extra plastic bits. Not so the Toyota CHR. Its name stands for Coupe High Rider, which looks like the sort of car the Jetsons might use. Sure, you get a bunch of chunky black plastic bumpers and side skirts, but the Toyota CHR's angular headlights, strongly creased sides and swooping coupe-like roofline make it look much sportier than a conventional boxy SUV. A 2019 facelift gave the car scrolling LED indicators, new front and rear bumpers and new head and tail lights, so it now looks even more striking. If you'd like your CHR with a more sporty-looking edge, you can go for the GR Sport version. This gets you 19-inch wheels, a larger front grille and a deeper rear bumper. Climb inside, and you'll find the Toyota CHR's interior looks just as flashy as its exterior, and quality was improved slightly in 2019 with soft-touch plastics used on the insides of the front doors. GR Sport models are also available with swanky Alcantara sports seats, if you're willing to pay extra. A streak of trim stretches from the front doors all the way across the dashboard, and you get plenty of embossed plastics that mimic the CHR's diamond patterned grille. Sadly, while some of these surfaces feel lovely and soft, The lower third of the dashboard and all the plastics in the rear seat are hard. That said, the Toyota feels like a very solid car, so it's a shame the infotainment isn't also a solid performer. Since Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are now standard, you can avoid Toyota's system and use the far more intuitive controls of your smartphone. The Toyota CHR isn't quite as roomy as a Tiguan, either. Sure, there's ample space for tall adults in the front, but the tiny rear windows and sloping roofline make it feel rather dark and dingy in the back. The boot's significantly smaller than in almost all other similar-sized SUVs, too. It's not quite as relaxing to drive as the Peugeot 3008, you can blame the rather intrusive wind and tire noise for that, but the Toyota CHR handles twisty roads surprisingly well. It has plenty of grip and barely leans in tight corners, so your passengers shouldn't have any reason to feel car sick. Neither of the Toyota's 1.8-liter or 2.0-liter petrol-electric hybrid engines feel particularly sporty, but they're both reasonably smooth and return decent fuel economy. It's just a shame that the CVT automatic gearbox that's standard forces the engine to make an annoying din when you accelerate hard. The Toyota CHR has a recommended retail price range of £29,920 to £37,940 and monthly payments start at £291. The hybrid engines and great standard kit make it a desirable choice amongst the sea of mid-sized SUVs, although if you want extra space and/or pace, there are more suitable alternatives to pick from. If that's not a major concern and you are smitten by its funky styling, then we'd opt for the mid-range design trim with the 2.0-liter hybrid motor. There's a sportiness to the CHR without it feeling overly hard over bumps, although it's not the most refined at motorway speeds. The CHR seating position isn't quite as lofty as you get in a Peugeot 3008, but you still get a commanding view out, aided by a pair of small triangular windows at the base of the pillars. The well-weighed controls and smooth CVT automatic gearbox give the CHR a laid-back feel around town. The base Icon trim gets 17-inch wheels, with 18 inches standard on the Design and Excel trims, and with either the ride comfort is decent over most road surfaces. The GR Sport does get sportier 19-inch items which mar the ride a bit. More concerning is the tiny rear window and wide rear pillars, both conspiring against you when reversing into parking bays. Fortunately, all trims come standard with front and rear parking sensors and a rear view camera. The Excel trim also gets rear cross-traffic alert and blind spot monitoring. The self-charging hybrid engines are capable of traveling for short distances on electric power, although you'll have to be a bit sensitive with the accelerator to avoid the petrol engine springing into action. The CHR feels stable at motorway speeds, with enough power in reserve for overtaking, especially with the larger engine. Both power units get pretty vocal when pushed though, a common issue in cars equipped with CVT automatic gearboxes. In this case it gets drowned out slightly by the tire and wind noise that are a constant companion on motorway journeys. While the CHR comes with plenty of driver aids to ease fatigue on longer trips, a Peugeot 3008 or VW Tiguan offer a more refined driving experience. The Toyota CHR delivers a pleasingly sporty drive along a twisty stretch of road. It grips well and there's not much lean through fast corners, and the ride isn't too firm either. It is a touch more engaging than most SUVs in its class, but not quite as enjoyable as the Ateca. The CHR has a great driving position, although that cool sloping roofline limits rear passenger headroom and boot space. The front seats are comfortable and supportive, offering enough adjustability to accommodate most shapes and sizes. Taller occupants may find that they bump the roof-mounted grab handle when climbing into the CHR, though. Both front seats are heated with the driver getting power-adjustable lumbar support.